Anuj Puri, Chairman at Anarock, joins us right now on the show to talk about this. Anuj, good having you. Thanks so much for joining in. Neeraj here. Good afternoon.
Hi, Neeraj.
Hi, what do you make of these announcements, Anuj? One, are they on expected lines? And two, from a city planning perspective as well as an environmental perspective, do any of these announcements worry you or please you?
Got it. I think both are very, very valid points. The first is it on expected lines? It is on expected lines, but we did not think that it'll move, so quickly because it's a massive announcement. There's going to be a huge amount of positive development for affordable housing. We think that, you'll be able to construct over 10 lakh affordable houses in the salt pan area that has opened up. And the second is, Neeraj, which you did not fully cover, is that the FSI has been raised in the island city from 1.33 to 3, which means there's going to be a huge amount of real estate activity in the island city. And, many of the large developers, many of the listed developers who are in Mumbai are going to really benefit from this activity in the island city. I think the 2 points that you say is, first, I do have concerns from an infrastructure point of view, whether the infra is going to be able to keep pace with the huge amount of real estate development activity that is going to take place. And the second is, just want to understand a little bit more on how these salt pan developments are going to take place, given that there is a CRZ, issue on the coastal zone regulation. So those are the concern areas which, my guess is the government would have taken into account when they've come out with these massive announcements on increased real estate activity as well as positive development for the affordable housing.
Anuj, I'll take 2 or 3 more minutes of your time, so allow us for that. Firstly, we want to talk about salt pans as well because there's an environment angle to that as well. And agreed, I think the CRZ norms, whether they have been changed, considering a lot of these salt pans are touching marshy areas or water areas as well. But firstly, this island city news that you gave us, the FSI raised from 1.33 to 3. I believe island city would count for the benefit of our viewers, all areas northwards or southwards of Worli?
So these are the 7 islands. So from Mahim going into town.
So yes. all the big developments that, for example, that Oberoi is undertaking in Worli, for example, would all account for this.
That's right. The only thing is, Neeraj, that development has already under the SRA.
Okay.
So they already have a higher FSI.
Okay, so would you by any chance, Anuj, just so that, we cater to all kinds of viewers, right? And some viewers would be wanting to know which are those players, whether listed or otherwise, but large players and ideally if listed, who have existing large developments, which you think prima facie right now could benefit as a result of this change?
It'll be difficult, Neeraj, to voice those.
Okay, I won't press you for that. But the FSIs have been raised, yeah.
FSI has been raised, no.
Oops. Okay, I think we are
wanting to sell their large land parcels will benefit because the FSI in those land parcels has gone up, and consequently you'll be able to develop more, and hence the value would have gone up.
Okay, fair call. The other bit is the salt pan lands, Anuj, and I know a clutch of private developers too, unless I'm wrong, have some salt pan lands within this Mumbai city as well. How difficult would it be to make an affordable housing project work in these areas? You believe some of the norms regarding CRZs, etc., would have been changed? I believe we are on the eastern side, the salt pan corridor is in this whole Vikhroli-Mulund region, and on the western side, if I'm not wrong, the Meera Road Bhayandar region.
You're absolutely right. Those are the 2 large areas where the salt pan is. So my understanding is that the CRZ would have consequently been changed to accommodate the affordable housing, and that's why the Chief Minister has been very merciful for us that these have been opened only for affordable housing to be done. So the CRZ has been relaxed, hopefully, to accommodate the affordable housing on these salt pans. In terms of the difficulty, globally, it's always been done. Areas near the coastal line have been developed. You look at Dubai, you look at most of the US, where it's a beautiful coastline. It's perhaps the most expensive part of the real estate, and we are utilizing it for affordable housing, which is quite a dilemma. That most expensive part, most pretty part, most worthwhile part, where usually hospitality, hotels, leisure, tourism comes in. We are opening it up for affordable housing.
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting. I take on board your point. Let's see which kind of development and what kind of players come in and benefit out of this. Anuj, anything else that has stood out for you? I mean, I know they're talking about the kind of job development that will happen through these rules and how, I believe when they're talking about no development zones and affordable housing, they're probably talking about this salt pan lands and nothing all beyond that. They also said that, commercial development to be given importance as well. I don't know when was commercial development not given importance, or do you think that there was a need to push this in a meaningful way?
I think they want more job creation, and hence that is where the commercial development statement would have come in. I would say two big highlights. 3,700 hectares is a big part of it. So, as I said, is that it is going to be a massive real estate activity push that Bombay will get. And the second is the point that you initially highlighted, Neeraj, is my concern that infra has to keep pace. Because there's going to be lots of this development, and hopefully with the metro coming in and with some of the other infrastructure projects being put in place, we will be able to cater to the additional requirement that is going to come on the infrastructure.
Okay, Anuj, one final question really. The last time that we spoke in February, you had spoken about green shoots of demand within this real estate buckets that you guys used to track, Mumbai, Bangalore, and a few other pockets. Have they continued to be even stronger now?
So I would say that Neeraj, Bangalore, Pune, and Bombay continue to remain very strong. Much better from February as well. We've seen further uptake. Some of the projects that have got launched have done exceptionally well over the last 30 days. So these three markets continue to do well. I think, NCR to struggle with a lot of the investor activity, more so in Gurgaon than in Noida, contrary to the thought that Noida has, more investor activity. I think Noida, we're starting to see the end users starting to come in, but Gurgaon still is very lackluster. Chennai and Calcutta continue to suffer because of, perhaps lack of economic activity in those two markets, and Hyderabad is sort of stable.
Okay, Anuj, appreciate you taking this time out and speaking to us.